Money Monday with the University of Michigan Credit Union on the Lucy Ann Lance Show. Our guest each week is the Financial Education Manager at University of Michigan Credit Union, Mark Munzenberger. And today we're going to talk about home buying myths. All right, so you've decided to buy a home. Everyone's weighing in on it. They're all offering advice, your friends, your family. There's a problem, though. Not all of it is accurate information. So Mark is going to help dispel some of these myths for us. Where do we start, Mark?
Boy, everybody means well, don't they? Everybody likes to provide us advice, and they all have our best intentions in mind. But when we're talking about buying a home, which is typically for most people the largest transaction, a financial transaction they'll ever make, we want to make sure we're making decisions based on accurate information. And I hear a couple pretty common myths as it relates to home buying. I want to dispel a few of those today.
All right. The first one you say is that you hear people say is you need a 20% down payment. Not true?
Right.
Really?
And it is absolutely not true. There is an advantage of putting 20% down on a home, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But a lot of, especially first-time home buyers, get fairly discouraged when they hear that myth. And they're thinking, oh my gosh, the purchase price of this house is hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's going to take me 10 to 20 years to save up 20%.
Mm-hmm.
That is not the case. You need to talk to a good mortgage lender, talk about your options. There are both government-backed loans, like an FHA, or even a conventional loan that you get with a bank or a credit union, down payments as low as 3 to 5% to get you into that property. So absolutely, you do not need 20% to get a mortgage.
3 to 5%. What's a general average of what someone puts down?
Probably about 10 to 11% is average on most mortgage applications. And people do need to be aware that if they do put down 20% or less, probably going to have to pay private mortgage insurance, which is an additional premium that's added onto your mortgage payment. It's typically $50 to $100. That's very common, though, especially for first-time home buyers. Not anything to really dissuade you from moving forward.
All right, but how can you avoid that PMI, though?
By putting at least 20% down on the purchase price of your property. And again, depending on your financial situation, you may be able to do that. Mm-hmm. You know, the more money you put down, the better. But I don't want anyone to think, well, if I don't have 20% down, I have no chance. Yeah. That's not true.
Yeah. It's easier for someone to pay an extra $50 or $100 a month than it is to come up with 20% of the cost of a house, right?
That's exactly what we were going for in there. Yep.
All right. Myth number 2. Mark says you should definitely get a 30-year fixed rate mortgage is a myth.
Well, you know, a lot of folks, you know, when they're learning about the process, they think, well, you know, the only thing I've ever heard about mortgages is I'm going to take out this mortgage and I'll pay it back over 30 years. And while about 80% of all first-time home buyers do choose a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, which is okay, understand there are a lot of options. There is always the option of choosing a 15-year mortgage, which is going to obviously increase the payment a little bit, because your term is shorter. However, the interest rate will probably be lower and you'll pay a lot less in interest. So really important to kind of understand a 30-year fixed rate mortgage is not your only option. Choose the term that fits your finances.
Myth number 3, you cannot buy a home unless you have great credit. I thought that was true.
Well, you and I have talked about credit and credit scores many times on our segments, and I am certainly one that encourages people to be credit healthy. However, we should understand, very similar to what we talked about with the down payment, as long as you have, I would say, good to very good credit, which means you don't need a 720 or a 750. There are people that qualify with credit scores as low as 620. Depending on certain mortgage programs. So again, you need to talk to your mortgage lender, explain the situation, and sort of kind of work with them in terms of what is possible, but you do not need to have A+ credit to get approved for a mortgage.
Well, see, and you're really helping a lot of people rethink their plans now because of this information.
And that's good. I mean, I am pro home ownership. I think for me, you know, buying a home is a tremendous financial goal and when the time is right. But some people get discouraged like, well, my credit's not good enough. It may be good enough. Let's at least explore the option.
Yeah, I agree. We're talking with Mark Munzenberger from University of Michigan Credit Union, and you can visit umcu.org for more information. Myth number 4, you cannot buy a home if you have student loans. That's not true?
Well, certainly here in Washtenaw County, don't we have a lot of people that either attended University of Michigan? We've got Eastern Michigan. We have a lot of graduating students here in the area. Plenty of them have student loans. And they are under the impression that as long as I still have these student loans, I'll never get approved for a mortgage. That's not the case at all. There's underwriting requirements that they'll have to go through, and a student loan, of course, will be considered as a part of your mortgage application. But just because you have a student loan, as long as it's a manageable payment, absolutely you will be able to move forward with your application. You don't need to have your student loans paid off by the time you get into your first house.
All right, great to know. And then finally, myth number 5, you don't need a home inspection.
I do not like hearing this one. I am very, very big on encouraging people as a part of the purchase process to get the home inspected. No surprises. We want to know exactly what we're buying, and you hire a qualified home inspector to do a full inspection to make sure that the home is structurally sound. Too many people are waiving this. They're accelerating the process. They don't think they need it, and then all of a sudden 6 months later something happens. I'm here to tell you that you really do need a home inspection for peace of mind.
Learn more from Mark Munzenberger and join his free seminars each month through University of Michigan Credit Union. They are open to the entire community and they are free. Visit umcu.org. I'm Lucy Ann Lance for Money Mondays on Ann Arbor's Talk Station 1290 with University of Michigan Credit Union, WLBY.